Alright guys, welcome back. We are now on part 17 of Final Fantasy IV Advance. In the last part, we finished out the sealed cave, Kain stole the crystal, and ran off. Big surprise. So now we are doing some side quests before we head back up to the... overworld. So, let's go ahead and take Rydia's advice. As you notice, we just stepped over a damage floor. This place is full of them. This is why we needed to have Rosa make sure she knows the float spell before coming down here. By casting the float spell, oh look, the damage floors no longer hurt us. There is also an enemy in this dungeon that is awesome for level grinding off of. Similar to the Puppeteer back in the Tower of Babel, there are summoner enemies that will summon various monsters in order to support. Similar to how the Puppeteer summons the puppets and stuff. There is one of the monsters that can be summoned is a monster called Arachne, whose only attack is to cast Quake, which will only damage characters who are on the ground, as in not floating. And of course, I don't know why I cast Titan against these guys, because they fly. But anyway, if you encounter a summoner that summons Arachnes, you can pretty much just wail on the Arachnes all you want, and they cannot do anything about it, because the summoners don't actually have a physical attack. They only summon when they're solo. But let's see. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that every floor you will have to reapply float on, because it wears off between floors. Oh, here we go. Here's a summoner, and nope, it summons a butterfly, the Hell Flapper. So this is a summoner that we want to kill. Oh, whoops. Forgot to reapply float. Like I said, it wears off in between floors of a dungeon, so... Now, there's only 2 dungeons where this spell is actually useful. This one and the dungeon we'll be doing after this area. And now I am out of dry ethers. That's annoying. Also, a thing to keep in mind is... Oh yeah, this is the Arachne enemy I was talking about. Its only attack is to cast Quake. More rather, Earthquake. And since we have float applied, it cannot hurt us. One effect I did like about this dungeon, and this dungeon works the same in the Super Nintendo version, is that you can see the floor below it through the floor of the dungeon itself. So it lets you know how far along you are. So like we're almost to the actual town of summoned monsters. Oh, okay. I guess these guys do have the ability to attack. That's kind of awkward. Rydia, you really need to learn how to Osmos better. Alright, that's enough of these guys. One other thing about this is that you can see hidden passages. Oh, now I understand why it says to equip manually, because the bows don't have a better... Alright, what do you summon? Oh, it's an Arachne summon. Like, I really should spend a little bit of time just fighting Arachnes from this guy. But I need to also continue the plot. So I can always come back and do it later. actually, before we go into the actual town of summoned monsters, there's one more chest up here. Alright, we get the Defender Sword. So what does this thing do? Alright, I'll take the extra attack power and increased defense. Okay, finally, that tile over there in the center that I keep avoiding is the actual entrance to the town of summoned monsters. Whatever. Oh, crap. We are low on MP. And Edge has none left. Excellent. Oh great, they counterattack everything with Confuse. That's really bothersome. Alright, we're almost out of here. Just a little bit longer. Oh, that's awkward. But it's dead, so we don't care. Welcome to the Cave of Summons. There are no random encounters here, despite the fact that it looks like it's full of monsters, which it actually is. But before we do that, we have a little hidden passage here. Where we get pretty much the second best bow in the game and the second best arrow type in the game. Had I stepped on... Now that little square there, that's actually an exit from the dungeon. Don't step on that until you're ready to leave. No, doesn't say anything different if Britty's in the lead. And that's the rat tail. Oh, crap. That's the rat tail that we need for the guy in the cave near Mithril. And of course, my inventory is completely full. Alright, I need to start selling some of this crap. That's a really expensive inn. Alright, well, you guys are worth... No, that's money. Let's see... I can sell these attack items off. Actually, keep that. Those things have no right to be anywhere near that expensive. Let's see, we can keep the weapons because we're going to be able to... Eventually, Edge is just going to start chucking them at people. And these old elemental arrows we can get rid of. Now, of course, even though the Yoichi arrow and Yoichi bow is the best equipment, it's really not, because Yoichi arrows are fairly hard to come by. This is the only set that you're going to have for a good while. And conveniently enough, significantly cheaper than an inn, is a save point, which we can use a cottage at. So we can spend 500 on a cottage, get full healed, and save, or we can spend 1,200 on the inn. I mean, if you really want to, you can. And in case you're wondering, yes, you can actually get a bomb as a summon, but it's not until later in the game. Alright, let's see. What does the weapon shop have for me? Sure, we'll go ahead and grab a set of arrows. Rune Staff equipped. Even though it's technically worse than the arrows. Alright, so now in order to go talk to the king and queen, we need to go to the library. And there's a staircase down there. Now this is all just lore about the different summons, basically. Alright, so... Of course you are. Alright, so, there are two boss fights here. Queen Asura and King Leviathan. So, let's go ahead and fight Asura. This is the other reason why we need Rosa to learn Reflect. Because Asura does nothing but heal itself and cast buffs, and she also hits really hard. And every time you attack her, she switches faces and counterattacks. But if you reflect Asura, suddenly all that healing and protection goes to the party. Thank you, Asura. Alright, let's go ahead and start chucking stuff at him, like this light sword. That was a lot of damage. And really, now I'm probably a little underleveled at this point, just because of where I'm at. Generally speaking, you want to be probably closer to like level 40 or so to fight Asura and Leviathan. Probably closer to like 45. And also, you kind of want to have 5 party members instead of 4. But I'm making do with what I've got. Alright, well, we don't need this blood sword anymore. Generally speaking, you want to make sure that your party can survive a counterattack from Asura before you actually try and hit her. And then heal up and do it again. Fortunately, all Asura does is counterattack and heal herself. So she won't actually attack unless you initiate. Riddy! Riddy even had Protect up. Also, I'm an idiot. And here's why. Hi, Blink. Let's completely nullify Asura's ability to hurt me. Oh crap, Reflect is worn off. This is the problem with having only one white magic user. I can't throw katanas at her? That's awkward. And we have defeated Asura. Yay! And for defeating Asura, Rydia has now the ability to summon her. And what Asura does is Asura spins her 4 faces, and depending on which face shows up, will cast life on your party. Yeah. She's supposed to randomly cast Curaga, Protect, I believe Shell, and Life. But at least whenever I summoned her back on the SNES version, without fail, she would always cast Life. Alright, so we're not going to fight Leviathan at this point, for a couple of reasons. The main one being, I'm not nearly at the required level to beat Leviathan, or have the right equipment for him. Come on, out of my way. We'll go fight Leviathan in another video. Now there is one other side quest we can do, which is over to the far left of the underworld, and that is the Sylph Dungeon, or the Sylph Cave, which we will get to at another point in time as well. Right now, what we need to do is we need to head over to Mysidia, which is this way. But before we actually go into Mysidia, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break here. So, stay tuned, guys. I'll see you in a little bit.